Are you looking for a faster video? Well, today it's a live stream, and I know you're probably looking for a really nice and tidy, edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop, you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Hi, I'm so running behind. Can you guys hear me? I didn't do any sound checks. I just did my post on Instagram. And what was I about to do? Look at all of you here. I'm so sorry I'm not quite ready. You're gonna watch me get a couple things ready. Why does my face brightness look like that? I might just leave it. All right. Hi, Fiona and Beverly, Elena, Catherine, Shem, Eva, Margaret, Amy. Hi, Amy. I'm glad you made it too. Hey, Ray, Malin, Aisha, Donna, Anna. I think I said everybody. Okay. I had a ton of prep stuff to do, and I had a friend visit me last night, which was delightful. And my office neighbor just walked up to my door 10 minutes before. So, yeah, anyway. So, real talk on these jeans. I was here fitting them and didn't cut them out until 5 p.m. last night. So, fingers crossed. Because when I started fitting the front to eliminate whatever I wanted to, I had to compensate for what I'd done to it. I started just like kind of doing the whole nitpicking thing, you know, and I think I've got them really good. So I did okay. So I'm pretty confident about them. However, why is my phone still on? Okay. You know, I'm just like, anyway. That's enough of that. That's enough of like a nonsensical sentence. So I'm gonna just use this fabric I have. This is one of my trials for the marigolds print. I printed it in like a bunch of different colors, you know. So I think I'm gonna use this as my pockets. So that's gonna be a pocket lining. But we're not sewing pockets today, except for the back pockets. So I don't have my machine quite threaded yet because I wanted to show you some of my thread options here. So I have this thread, top stitch thread right here, which is this one. And it's not quite like a sunny yellow. Oh, it kind of does look like on the camera. But you can tell how much brighter this is. This is very much like, it's more like a denim jeans yellow, you know? And then I have this one, this dark kind of chestnut brown right here. I have the autofocus off, otherwise we all get a little bit nauseous. So, I don't know, do you guys think I should do a top stitch color, or do you think I should just do white? Yeah, exactly, Shim. Oh, thanks, Ray. I know we really fell off the whole hit the like button, everybody. And you know, now I'm watching the control room. I'm not even hitting it. So bad. So yeah, this stuff is great. This is just the I think this is the lawn that's in beta right now. And you know, it's kind of smooth and crisp, a little tightly woven. So I think, yeah, you like the chestnut, the darker brown. Okay. Yeah. I think the brown is a really interesting idea because it's not really picking up a color. It's kind of doing the opposite of like jeans, right? With jeans, the denim is all the business and the top stitching is the party. Whereas these pants are the party. So the top stitching could be the business. All right, let's try that. And I had to wind a bobbin. That's all I have to do. I've already got my needle in there. But wait till you hear how this sounds. It sounds like I'm sewing with a hammer. I have a size 18 needle in there. Because this, oh, I wish I wouldn't have clipped this. This is the actual thread I have last on here. So, I'm trying to decide. Do I want to sew more of this together just using a white thread? Where'd my white thread? Oh, it's right here. It's right here. Okay. I'm going to steal that. Put those over there. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Libby. How's it going? Hey, Sarah. Yeah, exactly. Well, and you know, that's why I was wondering, Shim, if I should just do the white, you know, like, does it really need to be a contrast top stitch, you know? So I've been thinking about your pictures that you posted in the guild, Michelle, that hem juncture with the side seam. So it's funny because I avoid that kind of hem and side seam juncture treatment when I see it. And it's because your side seam is going to go through the hem and can be exposed, you know? But at the same time, if you're wanting a untucked shirt, you don't really need the shirt tail going up on the sides, you know? Yeah, you like the contrast? Okay, cool. Yeah, we can always not use the contrast in certain areas too, you know? So we're going to do the back, so that'll be a good spot. So because you're here, Shem, and you've used this dogwood denim, what do you think about me doing the waistband, just 2 pieces of the fabric with no interfacing? Because I was going to line the waistband and not use the self fabric. I like a very strong waistband, but I also get a little nervous about the thicknesses. Like when I get to that center front juncture where the fly is, I'm a little worried about that. I could leave it flat. I just really love my waistband to be clean finished on the inside, but I may have to leave this one hanging out. You know what I mean? Like bound edge or something. I'm just a little worried about the thickness. I'm thinking about it. But we have time to think about that because I can still cut this out in something else. So let's stack our pieces up here. So I usually like to stack my project. I usually have a bin, but all my bins are full and I'm tired of trying to steal bins. So yeah, oh yeah, the belt loops. I haven't been doing belt loops, but I think that, yeah, I probably won't do belt loops. I haven't been doing belt loops the last few pairs of jeans. I just don't wear a belt anymore because my belt got lost when I moved to the house and my daughter or my husband just found it like a few weeks ago, all my belts. And then I'm like, oh, that's right, my belts. So, yeah. All right, so I usually stack my stuff up in the order of how I'm going to sew it. So we're going to grab our back pockets. I usually don't even have the pattern pieces on here still. It's kind of rare. So we just need the backs, the back yoke, back pockets. We're not doing a whole lot today, and I really actually am appreciative of that little break. I still need to cut the fly. I'm going to do a zipper fly right there. And then this is my test fabric. I still have the Ask a Sewy Questions show junk right there. All right, and if you missed yesterday's stream, we're making the Halfmoon 101 jeans by Halfmoon Atelier. Her last name is Halfmoon, which I think is unbelievably cool. They're a non-stretch jean. They have a lot of sizes, so it goes from goes up to a 67-inch hip and down to a 33 3/4-inch hip. Yeah, right. They're so bulky. You like the wrong waistband? Yeah, you don't tuck exactly. So if I like the wrong, what? I can't. There's no way I'm gonna interface this. It's too thick. You know, because if I have this, like say this is a waistband, right? Plus we have the pant going in there. At the center front, there would be the fly, which has 3 layers. Oh, strong. If you like a strong waistband, then you would interface. Really? You think so? Beverly, thanks for translating that. That's awesome. You guys are good. You are pro chatters. All right, I'll think about it. Oh, wait, I still want to, all right, so we're going to do the brown, and that means that I'm going to start off with sewing my pockets and my yoke. And so we had this whole discussion in the guild yesterday also about flat felling, because I was like, flat felling the back crotch, really? And they're absolutely right. And it's like as soon as Shim posted a picture of a flat felled back rise, I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what they look like. And that's so funny that I'd forgotten that. But that's a machine that is, here's Brace's face. That is a machine that's doing that all at once, I'm pretty sure. You know, so I don't know how they go through the juncture of the yoke at the center back. I am not going to try that, you know, like that makes me nervous. So my machine's calibrated. Like the size 18 is the highest needle I can put in here and sew pretty good. I can use a size 20, but it's not calibrated for that. It's just like how my machine's not calibrated to sew with a size 6 needle. So, you know, there's this like, when you have an industrial, you can kind of say, this is the kind of stuff I'm going to sew on here. Can you set it up ideally for this? And I'll probably go as light as this. And so they can't just accurately go, you're going to be able to perfectly sew lingerie and this, you know, you're going to be like, okay, this is your best. And then you can go a little outside of that range. And my machine was set up for sewing chicken boot stuff, which had binding and stiffener and vinyl. And so there were some pretty stout junctures, but the stiffener itself, even though it was thick, it was really only adding thickness because it was very porous. So, oh, really? I mean, the one thing about flat felled is that basically, you know, it's you're hemming over it like that, right? It's not like a French seam, right? The French seam, you're actually sewing it and then sewing it again. No, that's actually as thin. I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, they should be, Michelle. It's all about the timing. So the diameter of the needle and the length and all that is really, really important with every machine. And then if you start getting into these, you know, chunkier needles or really small needles, you just need to adjust the timing. It's not a big deal. They're meant for that. But yeah. So let me sew a little. So what do I want to do here? Do I want to I think I want to sew this with I'm going to sew my seams together with white, and then I'm going to top stitch. Usually, I've been cheating lately a lot and using my top stitch thread as the seam. Yeah, a flat-felled seam at the crotch would be more comfortable. I totally agree. I do it in the inseam. Hey, Raquel, how's it going? Hello from California, not snowy Sweden. I'm just teasing Malin. Malin posted a picture in there today like, okay, I know it's March, but... No, Michelle, they've already designed it that way. It's already calibrated for that. And that's why you'll see home machines that are like, this machine is, you know, more ideal for sail making and denim. And this machine is ideal for quilting and stuff like that. There's a chance there's some wiggle room. I don't know. But most likely not. There's a big fingerprint on my glasses. And it's really no surprise because I've been handling them terribly. Okay. Oh, Ray. The little kitty that has been trying to adopt us is like so ready to move in with us right now. He is so cute too. He is just a snuggle muffin. This thread is just so, here's my thing. I want to sew with polyester thread to make my jeans, but I can't find white polyester thread that's Tex 40. I can only find the Tex 27. And it's just not very heavy weight, you know? It'll have to do. Okay, I want to do this here. You two need to go over there. There, that's my problem. My problem was there was a roll of binding there. I have no room for anything extra. You know? Most of it's gone now. Hey, Debbie, you're in the central coast of California? I've probably been there. You love snow, Anna? That's awesome. It snowed an inch in Omaha. I bet your dog loved that, Amy. Yeah, there are home machines for heavy fabrics, Aisha. And it depends on what you consider like a home machine. But yeah. One of my first machines, which I was actually incompatible with, was a New Home. Yeah, there you go. You have a need for a pep talk. Ben asked to make 200 linen. I'm sorry, Sarah. Can you say no? Sorry. All right. Or is this like, I'm definitely doing this. Now I need to know how much to charge. Oh, San Luis Obispo. Oh, yeah. Oh, see, Elena has a heavy-duty machine. Yeah, and if you look at the SailRite website, they make a sail-making machine, and it's basically a tabletop machine because it's also meant that they could do it on a boat. Oh, okay, you can. Okay. What's your method that you're going to be sewing them, Sarah? Are you going to be using like a stitch to finish the edge of the napkins like a rolled hem foot, or are you actually narrow hemming these? You sound like me. I'm kind of up for this. Yeah, there's a lot of people that do home upholstery, you know, or, you know, just tend to do bag making. So there are those. All right, I'm going to look at this shape of this. I'm going to reinforce this a little bit. All right, now I'm going to clip it, and then I'm going to overlock it, and then I'm going to top stitch it. You've heard more people say it's a gimmick. Yeah, I was thinking about that account too, Mullen, but she's all, yeah, if you want the pep talk, just say no. Yeah, as far as charging a miter corner and a, oh, you're asked for an estimate for both a miter corner and just doing around the edge of the fold. Yeah, this is the dogwood denim. And it's linked in the description because it's a Ukrainian designer on Spoonflower. So it's one of the ways I wanted to passively support. I feel like we have like 3 different topics I'm trying to follow here. I don't know if my business videos would really be helpful for pricing. I do talk about pricing. And so if this is just like a one and done type of thing, Sarah, I would look at this and go, what's the number that pops into your head right now that you would want at the end of this job? I don't care if it's logical or anything. Just, and I'm not saying dream big. I'm just saying, like, if you're like, if I got $500 for this, would I be happy? If I got $5,000, would I be happy? You know what I mean? Like, what's that number that pops in your head? All right. Now just set that aside. And then I want you to sew 10 napkins both ways. And I want you to factor in how you're going to cut 200 napkins. And really think about that, because the cutting can kind of sometimes be the worst. And if you don't cut them on grain, it's going to make the sewing harder. So if you're stacking a lot, some are going to get a little off grain. And then when you sew the 10, I want you to time yourself, and I don't want you to look at it like, I can't go to the bathroom, I can't change the bobbin, if the needle breaks, I can't include that time. You have to include that time. So, oh, does she, Aisha? That's cool. I would love to watch that. Yeah. I think one of my design and manufacturing series talks about pricing, and I show all of my price sheets and how I came up with it, but a napkin doesn't have quite the number of expenses going into it. Is the pre-washing. Why are you pre-washing them? So if you're, okay, so why are you pre-washing them? Because yeah, I have so many questions and I don't want to overwhelm you. So like the way I look at that, like we never pre-wash things when we sold things, right? They can wash, you can deliver them and they can wash them and iron them afterward. But if you're really in a pinch, you can also take it to a dry cleaner and ask them what it is to wash. Oh, talking to the customer in rent. Yeah. That's good, Aisha. Yeah, talking to the customer. Yeah, because she's a service-oriented business. I've had one of those, and I have some really things that I've developed over the years for that. I could talk a lot about that. Because when you're service-oriented, it's really different. You really have a lot of customer contact. All right, let's go to the serger. Where's my serger? There it is. Oh, I didn't set this up. Oh, look, there's this pattern. My friend, she gave it to me. I was going to show it to you guys. My camera got yanked when I moved my computer. So my friend who just visited me gave me this pattern, and her name is Madeline. And so this bra, this V right here is an underwire. It's like a wire like this, and there's actually some sort of support thing going on. She gave me this one too, which I probably wouldn't make. She had 2 of them by accident. But anyway, she had gotten a couple of kits to make that bra too. They were beautiful. She came and showed them off. I'm zooming in my camera. You gotta have the sound effects. Told you I was running behind. We're gonna do the sharpness. We're gonna take down the brightness, and then we're gonna take it up over here. Don't pre-wash those. They'll be harder to sew. Yeah, consultation time. That's a good way. Yeah, and sometimes people will do something like, I just add 15%. If you're new here, I'm really sorry that I'm really fussy about the setup today. I'm usually pretty prepared. Yeah, Sarah, if you want to chat, I don't know if you're in the guild or if you're in any of the Zooms or anything, or if you want to chat off stream sometime, I'm happy to do that. And there's probably others that you could get some really great advice from too. I kind of want this denser. No, I don't want that. The knobs on this machine are so strange because usually I feel like, you know, you sometimes when you're like on this one, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just thinking of different. All right, we have our pockets overlocked at the top. I'm gonna do the back, center back rise here. So if you're sewing jeans, I don't necessarily think you need to pick the dogwood denim. Have I made that clear? I don't know why I was like, I'm gonna make jeans and I need to buy the dogwood denim. I would recommend the cypress cotton canvas, the linen cotton canvas, or the twill. I'm going to do a whole video about Spoonflower fabrics. I mean, it's going to be a series. I know there's a lot of people here that aren't as gung-ho over Spoonflower fabrics as Shem and I are, because we are. But let me move this guy up here. I have all those jeans fittings videos in here from yesterday, so they're taking up a lot of space in my list of scenes. You're in the guild, okay. Yeah, absolutely, Sarah. Yeah, there's a lot of business costs. And that's the thing is like, if this is just a one-time thing, you're doing it for a friend who's getting married or whatever, then I wouldn't stress about it too much then. If this is something you're considering, like, oh, this could lead to more, I don't really want to undercut myself so that they're like, oh, and she's a bargain. You know what I mean? If you think there's that potential, and this is a friend, definitely say, this is my first time doing this and I'm working on my pricing. So please don't consider this pricing indefinitely, you know? Oh, yeah, check, yeah, your taxes. Hey, Carrie, how's it going? I was just waiting for you. Oh, exactly, Shim, yeah. There's a Facebook group for that bra. Oh, cool. Yeah, it sounds like she has quite a following. Okay, so what am I doing here? Why was I about to top stitch that? Oh, I just changed it to top stitch thread when I really want to do... Why did I do this way? What? You guys are distracting me. Oh my gosh. I just sewed this. Well, it's not wrong, but I usually put the yoke to the back, and then I do the center back seam. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, now I'm just going to top stitch these separately. Look at the shape of this yoke. Look how curvy it is. Oh, okay. Past coworker. All right. Do I do double? I'm going to do double. Because top stitching is fun. But I think I need to get a little closer. Dang it, I just pulled out this pin. Sometimes I can see, there it is right there. I can still see the holes. I need to get a little closer to the seam because I trimmed my seam allowance down a little bit to decrease the bulk. So I may have to get rid of... You were wondering, I know what I was doing. And I serged them that way and everything. Something felt funny, but I thought it was just because I'm out of sorts for not having everything set up. It's so stiff, everything's sliding off my table. This looks like such narrow top stitching, and then I see it and I'm like, oh no, that's okay. I'm gonna get rid of this row maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of one row here. Oh, but my it's not ready. My seam ripper and my awl are way over here. It was one of those afternoons yesterday. You thought that is some amazing pattern matching. Come on, we know who I am. So I have been putting together a Spoonflower video series for months now. I haven't been actively working on it the whole time because I had the guild to design and get going in between. But I ordered in December, at the end of the year, I ordered a fat quarter of every single fabric base, which, let me tell you, was stressful and so much fun because like picking out prints and being like, okay, well, I kind of want these to be usable. I want them to look good on camera, that kind of thing. And so, and even though I have fabrics in my stash from lots of the bases, I wanted them all to be from the current inventory they have because sometimes they change certain things. And I also wanted them to all be exactly a fat quarter as if you're ordering a fat quarter and having a fat quarter sent, not cutting a fat quarter off of yardage. All right. So it's a lot of fabrics. They have a lot of bases. And I feel like they're really catering to the home upholstery market right now. This is so much narrower than I think it needs to be when I see it, when I'm doing it. Let's see, is this better? See, I didn't get this first one close to the seam like I did here, but all right. So now we're going to sew this seam going across, and I'm gonna change my thread. Are you getting close? I think the one, let's see. I haven't sewn with the double gauze because they've added that. It's new-ish. I haven't sewn with the Belgian linen, which I'm really curious about because I kind of want to see what happens when you wash that, because I actually think that that could be a very interesting contender for pants. And I think it's going to change drastically when I wash it. So I'm going to do it before and after. I haven't sewn with I've sewn with the Perennial Sateen Grand, but not the other one. There's two that are 116 inches wide. Really, really wide fabrics for people who do like bedding, sheets, things like that. If you're like redoing your bedroom and you're like, I want to get a duvet or whatever, and you're just really having trouble finding fabric or good quality stuff, I recommend Spoonflower. It's actually very affordable for if you're doing that. I mean, if you're going to shop at Target, that's different. But if you can find what you need at Target, then you're fine, right? But sometimes you just cannot find what you're looking for. I mean, you could even upload a design too, which is great. Yeah, I think the Belgian linen is $55 a yard. Yeah, I think it is, if that's the one you're asking about. You know, Elena, right now they have a few. They have the, like, I find it feels a little bit slimy. If that's what you mean, I agree with you, and no, they haven't changed that. It's in beta, and seeing all the fabrics side by side has definitely made me go, like, why it's a little confusing, because two of them are very similar. Oh, that's awesome, Shims. That's good to hear. Yeah, not having to sew it. Yeah. Their poplin and their Petals signature cotton, I would argue, are the two of those to get. Right, Anna? I know, it was really fun. I'm going to go to Serger now. Oh, there was a new viewer here yesterday. There's probably a couple of new people here. Cynthia. And I got your email, and I'm responding to you just in case you're here. And she's like, she hasn't replied to me. It's been a little busy for me lately, but I will reply. Where was I going? Serger. Yeah, I really want to encourage more apparel making using Spoonflower fabrics, and because I don't want their site to get taken over by only housewares, wallpaper, and stuff for kids. I think that stuff's great. Oof, this is so thick. Okay. I think all this stuff's great. It's just that, like, I don't need to wallpaper my home. I don't need to wallpaper my home, period. But if I'm doing it once, I don't need to do it multiple times. Oh, really? The cotton sateen's kind of like for me. It feels papery and stiff. Oh, that could be a different lawn. You could always get a swatch. Can't remember. I was going to quote the price, and I don't know it. I just don't know it. I think they're free for pro members, and I don't know what it cost me when I wasn't a pro member. Oh, dang. I knew that knot wasn't secure enough. Yeah, the knits are great. There's some really, that modern jersey is pretty amazing. And so is I think it's the organic cotton knit. One of the cotton knits is really stretchy. So I think the one thing that the video, I'm going to go into it in the videos. There's just so much information I can talk about that I'm trying to divide it up. And that's why I'm bringing it up too, because I thought it'd be nice to see what you guys are interested in. Because one of the things that I think that they're failing at, and it's failing seems like such a strong word, is the titles of the fabrics. Because when you call something performance linen, you're expecting linen, and it's 100% synthetic. Stuff like that. But it's that word performance that they use it consistently to indicate that it's not a natural fiber. But I don't think if you're a long-time Spoonflower user, you're going to pick up on that. Oh, thank you, Mafio. $5 a piece. I was going to say 50 cents, and I knew that was wrong. So I'm glad you told me that. Thank you. And the other thing that is a little bit tricky is that their fabric information is, they have a ton of fabric information. In fact, I want to tell you something, Shem. But they aren't consistent about where it's at. And so if you're in the fabric buying part and you click, you're like selecting fabrics and you want to learn more information about it, you don't count on that being the same as in their fabric info. So, yeah, well, and the fat quarter sale is the best way to buy a fat quarter because it actually makes it the price of a quarter of a yard. Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's what I want to do, Anna. So I'm going to talk about how it feels, what I recommend it for. I'm sorry I'm not really describing what I'm sewing here. So right now, I did the yoke and the back out of order. It'll be fine, but it's not ideal. So Mafio, I saw you having trouble with that canvas, and that is such a bummer. So this is what I do because I'm a little nervous right now. I'm just going to hand walk my wheel towards me to get past this thickness right here. My machine would sew it, but the thing is, if it's really thick and you just never know when the needle is going through the fabric, just think of that needle going through the fabric, right? Anything could bend or push the needle around as it's journeying through the fabric. And so you want to make sure that if it's going really fast, that's when you might get that. It'll bend so far, it'll break, or the thread will get maybe caught and pull it. So that whatever you're making though, like the color is like fantastic. All of us are like, ooh, the color. So, oh, see, I don't think so, Aisha. This is definitely a pet project for me because I don't think many people here use, Shem's the first person I met that consistently uses the Spoonflower fabrics. But I have a lot of arguments for using it for clothing making, even though I know people think it's expensive. Okay, Carrie, hang in there. I know you've been busy lately. You can buy that fabric, any of them unprinted, plain white, for half the price of the printed version. So meaning you can just get the fabric now. Yeah, that is really nice. Yeah, that is really nice. You can just get like yardage. And they have solids now, by the way. Solids, I bought that color card, and I'll show that in the video too. All right, so now we're gonna put on, like, look at that booty this girl has. This is my booty, by the way. I'm objectifying myself. It's up here. I wish my booty was up here. It's more down here. All right, let's put those, the pockets on that I've lost completely. I feel like I need to keep sewing after this too. We might just go into a little bit more sewing because unless I've lost my pockets. Okay. Oh, they're in the garbage can. Yay! This is why you have a bin. We're going to put this guy in here. Fiona, that's such a good question. I'm going to start writing things down. I'm going to start writing questions down so I don't forget some of this stuff. I want to know what you want to know. The printing doesn't affect it unless it's very dark print, I would say. If it's a very dark print, it can add to the boardiness of the fabric. This is my secret book. It's not secret at all. Yeah, as long as they can find the video. It's interesting because my Spoonflower mask making video, because they offered kits, that actually got a lot of views. And then Spoonflower made their own. So you cleaned out your bobbin case, changed the needle to a top stitch needle, started hand walking the needle through the thick parts. So far, so good. Oh, awesome. That is awesome. I'm so glad to hear that, Mafio. That can add a lot of anxiety, and it'll make you not like want to sew. I had this, I'm going to iron these first. It's so thick. And I'm trying to drag it out a little bit. But washing helps deal with the stiffness. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's a good answer. I have some really old printed stuff back when black was not black. Like it was, you would pick out a design that had a black background. It would come charcoal gray. I even have two Sprout designs, Archer button-ups, like the shirt I'm wearing now. So they were printed by Spoonflower. Those will be a really good example. They don't even have that base anymore. And then, let's see here. I just want to see my notch a little better. I think if you want fabric that feels the most like the fabric, you pick a design that has a white or very light background. But at the same time, like it really, like it's come so far. It's still different though. The design is printed on the surface of the fabric. It's like this too, but it's different because it's a digital print, not a screen print. So it's as if you're putting it in your printer at home and printing the fabric, which is different than if you were screen printing fabric, which is a multi-layered process of ink. It's not very hot, but that's okay. What did I write in the secret notebook? It's a secret. I just wrote that question for Spoonflower, that's all. Okay, so I like top stitching my pockets from the right side because, well, right now I'm using a top stitch thread, and I should mention, like, I'm using this top stitch thread, and it's called, I think, Performex, and I bought it from Waywack. Did I whack the camera at some point? This is what it looks like. It is fabric designed specifically for top stitching jeans, so it's gonna be strong, and I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I don't have an affiliate link or anything. I just thought I'd tell you that, but it's not quite, it doesn't feel quite as thick as other top stitch threads I've used. I use a regular thread in my bobbin. I don't use anything heavy in the bobbin. I just use something regular, and I try to find something that's polyester now. So I like to top stitch from the right side, even if my bobbin and my top thread were the same. I do that because I want it to be perfectly even. And at least if I see it on this side, I can make them look as symmetrical to one another as possible. I'm not doing any fancy stitch design today because there's a print. And so now what I'll do, I like to see, is this an asymmetrical pocket? Or did I just cut it asymmetrically? It's very likely. I'm kind of curious. Is the pockets asymmetrical? I notice there's kind of a slight curve. Look at that. I think it is. I mean, I know I'm not, manga, but I'm not that bad either. So more importantly, I think that getting your top stitching across from it is better than from pocket to pocket. But I sometimes, I just check it out and see, like, okay, where's this one at? And now I just stare over here and keep my fold lined up on my throat plate in the same spot. I'm not a top stitching nerd. Like, you can really nerd out on the topic of top stitching. There's a lot of really great things out there you can do. So I made their pockets, Fiona, and they are asymmetrical. Text 100. I don't think you're crazy at all. I don't think I have a text 100. That sounds, what do you use in your bobbin? Sydney! How's it going? Are you surviving right now? All right, so if this is asymmetrical, is it asymmetrical or is it me? Let's just look at it. Did I just like take my pattern pieces off and not put them in the envelope? That's not like me. but I'm kind of out of sorts today, so hey. I thought I'd put him in here with this guy. Let's just read. Let's see if it's mentioned. Yet another pattern that jumps into the fronts first. I always sew the backs first. That's just my thing. I'm doing this all out of order. Where's the pocket? Just she might put the pockets on like as like part of a very, very beginning thing. No, I just cut it badly. Dang, I didn't think I cut it badly. Like, I remember cutting it. Oh, these are asymmetrical, or are you talking about the ginger jeans? Yeah, the ginger jeans, it's kind of a nice touch. You're surviving. Oh, so you use a standard text 30. You know, most people use text 27, so that's about the same. I use text 40 as my standard thread, and people think that's kind of weird, so I hear you. All right, well, let's just go with the asymmetry here, and we'll put the longer side on the outer. I did not match the print because I didn't really think it was necessary, but I did have a pretty serious fabric scare, so I folded my fabric, lining up the selvages and getting it on grain. And so when you think of Spoonflower fabric being printed, it's not like fabric that comes on a bolt and it's printed edge to edge. You'll see that the width of the fabric might be this, but the printable width is much smaller, right? And so you still get the printable width is actually pretty huge. Like you get a lot of fabric still. And so see, I'm doing this so out of order. I'm really sorry. Normally I would put the back pockets on. Then I would put the yoke to each back. Then I would sew the center back seam. Oh, no, this is ginger. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so I was laying out my things, you know, and I was like, oh, this is definitely printed a little bit off grain. So I'm going to line up my selvages. I need a stouter pin here. And when I did that, I didn't realize how much the cut edge was like, you know, so it was like, the fabric was like basically folded like this, right? This is the selvage and that's the fold. But I was seeing it this way. So I wasn't seeing how far that edge under there, you know where I'm going with this, right? So I laid my pattern pieces on there. I had plenty of room. That's the thing, is like this fabric is so wide, 2 yards, I can get a full pair of jeans out of there, no problem. But because I had slid them around and I didn't realize that fabric didn't meet down there, my whole front, like if this was my front pant, one whole front, the fabric was way down here. And I was like, oh, shoot. And so the thing that saved me was that I still had that piece taped to the corner of my pants, filling it in so I could do all those prototypes. And I just needed to shorten my pants a tiny bit. No, I don't, unless I don't have a table space. Your pockets are asymmetrical? Oh, okay, so it's not me. Okay, thank you for saying that, Libby, because I was a little bit like, I don't think I cut that badly. Like, I know I'm cavalier, but, you know, when it gets down to it, I don't try and make my life hard. You know? All right, so I just like to lay them on there and then just pin kind of in the middle. Can you see anything that I'm doing? Ooh, this is so bright on the camera. I'm going to do 2 rows of stitching. And a lot of folks like to iron that under. I think that's a great idea. So what I like to do here, especially when you have a pocket that angles like this away from this top fold edge, what happens is when you fold on the seam line right here, it'll poke above this fold edge, right? So I tuck this little corner in like that. If you can manage going through that kind of a thickness, then it'll be tucked in there and you won't get those little frayed edge. And I'm going to start at the bottom of my top stitching, go up to the fold of the pocket, across to the outer edge, and then around the pocket. That pulled up my bobbin thread. It's pretty thick right there where I folded that triangle. But see, this would be a lot easier to sew if I wasn't wrangling a whole pair of back pants. Hey, Nancy. Hello. How's it going? Let's see if we can get this straight. So does it mention why it's asymmetrical, Libby, and which one's supposed to go where? Did I do it right? I am liking the brown top stitch. Thanks, guys. I think that was a smart move. All right. You like how this pen keeps poking me? Me either. Out of here. Do you like to trim that off, Shim? We did when we stack cut it sometimes because it would hang out too far. We had to like rein it in. So I'm going to turn that corner under again. One, two. So when you have these really big things like this, you can go like this. And then just kind of, if you have a pin that's stout enough, right? And now it'll be like smaller. Oh, do you think I can wear these in public? Yeah, I don't mind an asymmetrical pocket. I was just surprised. I didn't see it in anything about it in the instructions, like where to line it up. It could have been written on the pocket because the font was pretty small and I just overlooked it. Oh, yeah, because it's folded. The fabric's folded. Yeah. Oh, I don't like my top stitching thread to do this right here, so I usually try and get rid of these. It's looking pretty clean back here, because you get it, like my machine likes to suck them back into the seam there, like that. See right there? So I sometimes go through and I just pull all those top stitch threads out. All right, let's do the other pocket. Absolutely wear them in public? Okay. That's so true, Libby. I'm going to think about that. You know what I find sometimes distracting when I'm wearing something is who comments on what I'm wearing. You know? Like, part of me is like, oh, okay. I see who this is appealing to. I mean, it can be said about any kind of garment, right? You know, like different garments attract different people, good and bad. And sometimes you're just like, oh, this says a lot about me, who I'm appealing to right now. Okay. Ow, jeez Louise, that hurt. That really makes me grouchy. I can't see my pins because they're just blending in to the fabric print. Here, I need to do some more pant management here. Definitely sew them in the order you're supposed to. That's awesome, Elena. I love it. Yeah, it is true, isn't it? Sadly true. All right, I'm going to hold my top stitch thread this time so I don't suck too much into the other one. I want 2 stitches, not 3 right here. I'm going to cheat a little bit. So what do you wear with your floral jeans? Do you wear like a solid shirt? And what do you guys think? I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to make a light blue top. I thought that would be really nice. And then I was like, maybe I want to go with this dark brown. That might really look cool. And then I was like, maybe I should just do white. Cream and brown stripe. I picked a cream and brown stripe for a pocket lining option by who's the gal I like, you guys? Does all the geometric prints. It's on the tip of my tongue. Debbie, wait. You're reckless and you mix it. I love it. That doesn't sound reckless. It sounds legit. That's awesome. Oh, where to buy the fabric? I have a link in my description, Jessie. So if you go to Spoonflower, just like open up their homepage, and if you don't know who Spoonflower is, I'm happy to explain them. But it's like a custom design print on fabric, lots of different bases. Anyone can upload a design. It's really, really easy. Ooh, that got really off kilter there. I better pay attention here. Good thing it's in the darkness of the flower. So on their front page, like right below the main thing, is a link to Ukrainian designers. It's the very first fabric in the list. And they posted it on Instagram, and I was like, I love that fabric. And I immediately bought it. This is the dogwood denim, and it's pretty stout, so I would recommend something a little bit lighter depending on what you're doing. But can you imagine this in like the chiffon and making it in a scarf? Getting back to what bases we have and haven't sewn, Shem. I have sewn the chiffon, but it's polyester, so it can be a little warm for our climate, but it is very light and airy, and the print quality is so good. Azor's green linen. Oh. Oh. That's an interesting idea. Yeah. Elena's like, I don't really own solid colored things. It does not compute. Okay, so the backs are ready. Let's put on the label right now so we don't forget. Oh, I have a little, I'm working on this other little project called Tiny Tips. And one of them is on how I'm wrangling these labels, because I have so many now. Mine are just in a cup, right? Oh, this one was sewn together at the top. So it's ready to like sew onto something. I so matched this. But what I did was I strung them together on a string of thread that has a loop knot, so you can just pull it out and get one off. So what do we want in here? What do we want in here? Maybe a circa 2022. That seems appropriate. Or sidekick. Doesn't really match. Do we care if it matches? Not really. We really don't. Ooh. What if this one Libby gave me from her trip to Sweden. Oops, I should have opened that a little nicer. This might look good. Let's see how this looks. She got me licorice and, well, that I kind of like that. I have a couple sweary ones in here. Most of these are from the Advent calendar. I mean, this one does have yellow in it. It does kind of go. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Anna. Oh, you are, Shem? That's great. Oh, do I have a peace sign? Do I have a peace sign? I don't think I did, Like, there's a lot in here. I don't have one. It's kind of hard to believe. I'm doing pretty good using these. I really want this to be visible since it was a gift. But yeah, this is so busy. I'm going to save the one of a kind. I think I'll do the circa 2022. But see, look, you know, I can just pull this little thread here. It'll untie it. That one I didn't pull quite right, but I still got it. Pull one thread off, or one label off, and then just tie it again. Oh, almost lost it. I can't believe I don't have a peace sign. Oh shoot. I'm like, look how easy this is. I don't have these tails even. There we go. You try doing it live. Oh my, I'm just gonna save this for later. Okay. So I'm just gonna put this here so we don't forget it. We're not really attaching it, but we had someone in the chat who was always on it for the labels, and she hasn't been here for a really long time, and I've been struggling to remember my labels lately. We remembered it like the worst moment. All right. So we're just going to put it there so we remember. Let's just sew a little bit more. One of a kind with 2 labels of the package. I love it. I think you mentioned that in the note. I was like, oh, that's so true. That's so funny. We'll do the front pockets. I don't have the flies cut out yet, so that's about all I can do. We can do our front pockets. I'm not going to do the coin pocket, and I'm sorry, I never do the coin pocket, but my husband has said the next time I make him jeans to don't forget the coin pocket, because he does use it, and I don't. Yeah, we miss Megan. I know. Megan was our little label reminder. It was great. All right, so let's go to the overlock, and I'm going to overlock this round edge here. Yeah, I love how stiff the denim is, that it feeds in there. It didn't do my curve very nicely, though. Martina, how's it going? I don't know why you do those things. If you're enjoying it, it's great, you know? Honestly. All right, so we're going to line up our pocket facing on the wrong. I like my pockets to face the right side of the fabric to face on the inside of the jeans. So when the jeans are inside out, you see the right side of the pocket fabric. I've confused myself over this countless times, but I now have it straight. I sew the pocket facing on to the wrong side of the pocket, and I won't forget to do it this way. Oh, really? Oh, now I feel like I need a coin pocket. It is. It does make them feel legit. My problem is a functional standpoint. I get caught on it pretty often when I'm putting my hand in the pocket. Yeah, that's what it is. He's using the extra embellishment time as alone time or meditation time. All right, and so now it makes like, we're going to pretend like this is the right side of the pocket. And this is how I keep it straight. Because you guys have seen me run in circles like, wait, I want to face the inside, so if it does this and blah, 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 blah. This is such an interesting pocket opening. It's very like long here. I like the way it looks though. All right, so 5/8 inch seam, right? This is when I get nervous. Did they change the seam allowance on something like the pocket opening, right? And this is why I want seam allowances always on pattern pieces, because not all of us use the instructions. Or we like a certain, maybe we use someone else's instructions because we like the way, because I hear a lot of you guys do that. They're, you know, like, oh, I like the way so-and-so does this, so I always do it that way, you know? So, and then you're like this Archer I'm wearing. This Archer, perfect example. I've made this many times, at least 6. I couldn't get it through my head that the seam allowance on the collar and the collar stand are 5/8. It's very clear in the pattern. It's just me. It's my stubborn head wanting them to be 1/4 of an inch. And so I sewed this one at 1/4 of an inch seam, and my collar is big. It's pretty big. That's a much bigger difference. That's 3/4 of an inch bigger in width. So for subway tokens, that's a good point. Okay, so let's see. Let's do this one. Well, actually, I can, I don't know why I was waiting. I used my top stitch thread to sew this. I'm going to trim this down, actually. Hear the chonk in that fabric, man. All right, we'll iron this and then we'll top stitch. Oh, is it 1/2 inch? Yeah, it's still double what I use usually, you know, on a neckline. And so my rule is that I always trim it off now. And my pattern pieces are now corrected, so if I sew it, I won't make that mistake. But it has taken me quite a few to do that. Make that mistake. Or, and you know, and it won't sew together, by the way. It's the wrong seam allowance. I can still make it get together, but for a long time I was like, wait, why isn't this working? Oh, that's right, it's 5/8 inch seam, you know. But the thing is, it will sew together pretty good, because if you're using everything as 1/4, then you're ruining the seam allowance on all the edges, the collar, the neckline, the stand. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty, I would be worried about your hand if you're using scissors. It's pretty thick. Our favorite, like when we started using a lot of Spoonflower fabrics for an outer fabric, is what we would do is we pick heavy for the outer and then a lighter for the inner, and that would kind of help counteract it. But we decide, we love the linen cotton canvas. I love the linen cotton canvas, actually. I love the texture of it, but the twill was better weight-wise for that. Oh, yeah, that's true, Raquel. I could put my allergy pill in there. All right, let's go over to the serger and iron this. Oh, here's the pocket. I did not lose it. Oh my gosh. Oh, it does. It says this side towards side seam. What the heck? That is so barely different. I did the opposite. I put the taller side towards the side seam. And only 3/8 of an inch is allowed on the, oh my God. This font is killing me. Like, this is so tiny. The green line. We are little people now. Why are most indie pattern companies run by people whose eyes aren't going yet? When most sewists, I would argue, are in an age bracket. I'm sorry, I'm stereotyping, but I include myself in there. All right, so we're just gonna iron this pocket opening here. And I always like seeing a little bit of my outer fabric showing on the inside so that I know my lining won't creep to the outside. Because if you were doing like denim jeans, the pocket lining is really obvious when it shows to the right side. So, you guys hassling me for that? Hi, Nancy B. Welcome, welcome. You don't believe in rotary cutters? Yep. Yeah, just be careful with your hands. Rotary cutters are just a different hand injury. They do not prevent them. Trust me. All right. This doesn't feel very clipped right there. It is, it's fine. So this is another way you can do this. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll iron it like this. So now the seam allowance is just like still laying the same way, but I'm just kind of, it's like the pre-iron, right? And then when I do it, it's a little more compliant because I'm not trying to do two things at once. There we go. I need to iron this pocket fabric clearly. Let's iron this pocket fabric too while we're here. The iron's hotter now too. The back of this matches better than the front. I have used Spoonflower fabrics a lot. Please tell me your questions. I'm doing a video series. You stayed away due to many bad reviews or infinite gorgeous design. What about the quality? I think it really depends on, the quality is really good. In the past, it wasn't where it's at now. So, why do some indie pattern use pretty fonts? Yes. Not yet. I'm about to top stitch it, Sydney. So I feel like it depends on what you're doing, Jessie, and I have definitely some tips for different types of projects, but the print quality it's amazing now. I mean, that's what this is right here, and this looks like, store-bought. I have it's a little overexposed, the lighting on my camera right now. It's almost more, it's more brighter in person. Maybe the face cam will do it more justice. But I don't know where I was going with that, but Yeah, so before, like a long time ago, years ago, if you picked a design that had a black background, it wouldn't print true black. It looked true black on the screen, but it was not true black when it got to you. It was in the charcoal realm, and I feel like they would a little bit fade faster. Now they don't. They wash great. The petal, you can't remember when you bought it. So they've changed that quilting cotton base a few times lately. Yeah, the poplin is very tightly woven. Yeah, and exactly. I don't have any fade issues now either. So in my video, I'm going to show my oldest knowable garment that I've made. And I've washed it several times. I wonder if I'll be able to find... Ooh. I wonder how far back you can go with your orders with Spoonflower. Because I could go back and see who the design was and show it to you on the screen. And see, the thing is, if you don't know what it's supposed to look like, it looks great. But I knew. Now, if I finally was like, you know what? I'm just going to think of this as a dark gray background. And then it's fine. Now you don't have that problem. You order black, you get black. And some of the samples I got, so I recently ordered every single base in a fat quarter, and then do a video about it. So I've had them for a bit. I just haven't had a chance to do the video because it's going to be a series. So I'm happy to, please tell me questions, you guys. Oh, and then Shem, I wanted to tell you, I think you would find this really interesting, just as a side note, and maybe you figured this out or discovered it, but when you go to the Spoonflower site and you go to fabrics, and you want to just learn about the fabrics, there's this little not pop-up, but they're each in their own little box, and there's some information, consistent information, somewhat consistent information. Because they don't provide the stretch amounts for 2 fabrics that are stretchy. So that's another thing I wanted to caution people about. But if you go to the Learn More, and then go to that page, and then expand that even again, you're going to love all the information in there. It has everything from crocking to what needle you're supposed to use. That's pretty cool. It's better than any fabric company we all buy from right now. So, I'll use the cotton sateen for masks. Is that the one that they were selling in their kit? I think it is, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Libby. And masks definitely get washed a lot. All right, let's change my my top stitch thread. I think if I were to have a dream job, it would probably be to work at Spoonflower, to be honest. That would be my dream job. It's not buried at all. If you go there, it's just that there's something there's over 20 bases. And if you saw how much information was, you'd understand why it's not all there. A lot of it would be over most of our heads, right? Like the crocking and the threads per, square meter type of thing, right? If you're learning about the fabrics and you put all that information right there, people would just click away. So what they do is they tell you the most pertinent stuff right there. They tell you the stuff you're most likely looking for. And then if you click Learn More and you go to their Learn More page and you just expand it, it's great. Yeah, and Shutterfly bought them last year, so I've been a little nervous about it, but I'm holding my hope up. I'm reserving my, you know what I mean. I'm not going to assume anything yet. Yeah, it takes 3 clicks, I would say. Well, if you're already on the Fabric Info page, it takes 2 clicks. Well, if we're dreaming, Sydney, don't become a YouTuber, because that's not the case. Maybe one day it will be, though. All right, so I'm going to do a little kind of a fake French seam on this pocket. So I just sewed it essentially wrong sides together, or the outer pocket side together, and now I'm going to sew it right sides together. Right sides meaning the side facing my hand. I don't like serged edges on my pockets because they snag on stuff, you know? I love that lightweight twill. There is no viscose. You're right. And if you follow Spoonflower on Instagram, I'm the pesky one that's like, when they get a new fabric, I'm like, all right, but when is the rayon coming? Throw a bone to the garment sewist out here, please. I think it's good to have, like, they have a lot of sales now, Jessie, a lot of sales. So sign up for their newsletter or their texts. I signed up for their texts, and that might be a beta thing. And it's, honestly, it's been really, like, hardly anything. And then find out, like, right now they're having a sale on all of the, like, petal cotton, I think. Like one of the base cottons. Look at my pants. Nah, her snow's already gone. I don't want to be a YouTuber. Just, you know, just be like me. Just don't tell anybody that's what you do. So let me show how I'm doing this, like, more instructive. So here's the current situation of my pocket, right? So we have our pocket facing here on the, you know, right side of the pocket, the pocket that your hand, this is the part your hand's going to go facing. Sorry, I can't talk. And then I've sewn it, you know, right sides together to my pant opening here, and then I've top stitched that, right? And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this pocket wrong sides together and just sew like a little 1/4 inch seam along the bottom here. This is why I call it is a French seam, but you don't really care too much if you don't get the edges perfectly in there. And you can even, like, make it a little easier. Oh, I changed the shape of this bottom pocket too. So the pattern piece goes, it rounds like this. I actually put this little swoop in here because I wasn't sure how that was going to work. So rayon is hard to dye. Well, they're printing it. They're not dyeing it. I think it's price. I honestly think it's price. I think that they don't think... I actually have a lot of opinions about this. Are you guys sure you want to hear them? I've thought about this for years. I could have been an ambassador for Spoonflower and shouted from the rooftops since the day they opened. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And it's because of, I've seen how, like, when they started custom printing, I saw the potential for that. And I was like, oh, heck yeah, I'm here for this, you know? Because when CAD came out and all that stuff, and then that custom printing, I was like, here we go, this is it, you know? So I think that when they had Sprout Patterns, which was this little offshoot of Spoonflower, and what they did was they partnered somehow with, like, pattern designers. So say, like, Rainline Studio, like a bigger indie company, and there were smaller ones too. And they would say, you can buy the Archer button-up, the shirt I'm wearing right now, through Spoonflower. You get the pattern, you get the instructions, so you get like a PDF version of the pattern. Just PDFs were kind of new then too, and they were getting a really hard knock. PDF patterns were, people really didn't think they were going to be here to stay, and now we're all accustomed to it, right? So they did that, and then they would print the pattern pieces onto the fabric. So you didn't need to lay out pattern pieces. You didn't have to pin anything. You could be sitting on your couch cutting out your garment. That's how easy it was, because they literally printed the pattern pieces. The problem with this is people can't do changes, right? So they can't go, oh, I really want to grade out at the hip, and it's white fabric, right? There was print there, but there was a white line so you could see where to cut. Good night, Eva. Sleep well. Thanks for coming. So, I have so many things to say about this. So there's that, right? There's that constraint. You could order a larger size, right? But you need to know where to make it smaller, and that's almost scarier, in my opinion. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing that is why this didn't work out is they were picking patterns that were very, very beginner friendly. Nothing against beginners, but beginners are not willing to spend $125 on fabric for a project they are not sure about sewing. So if you're going to spend this kind of money, $80 to $120 on a garment, so say you're making the Monetta dress, which takes like 4 yards of fabric, and it's the modern jersey, blah, 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 you're going to be pretty confident seamstress, right? Well, they didn't have a lot of patterns that were going to appeal to the people who've been sewing for a while. They had a lot of these indie patterns that were kind of meh, right? Archer was great. And that was about it. Like literally I would shop it all the time and be like, I don't want to make any of these patterns. I was doing hashtag reviews of these patterns in my head before there was a thing called hashtag, you know? I was looking at them going, I'm not going to spend that money on that. Yeah, it was the coolest thing. And, you know, my assistant pointed out the obvious thing when I had the factory. She was like, you know, you could lay a whole another layer of fabric on there and cut 2 out at a time. Genius! You know? Oops. So that was pretty cool. So my dream would be like, they would be like, Saremy, we really want to start Sprout Patterns again, and we want you to do it. I'd be like, yeah, give it to me. That's my dream. Because I know that I feel like you have to go about it a certain way. You have to appeal to people willing to invest in their money. You have to prove to them that the fabric is going to launder just as well. You have to pick patterns that they want to sew and ones that are going to fit. And they had mostly kids' clothes. No one's going to spend $60 or $80 on a kid's. Well, they will, right? They will, but it's a very narrow audience. So I think this is a lot of why it just didn't work out. And so where they started seeing a lot of traction is in children's stuff, because you don't need very much fabric, and because people love custom stuff for kids, right? Special things, and heirloom type stuff. And they found a lot of traction with home decor. Easier stuff to sew, takes a lot of yardage, so it pays the bills, and you're willing to spend more on your home. And it doesn't have to fit you. This will work perfectly with a bag pattern, Martine. What bag? This fabric would work great on a bag. Let's tone down the brightness that I've been blinding you all with. Let's see here. Oh, I don't know, Mary. I sound like I'm super confident, don't I? But at the end of the day, I feel like I just don't think that's what they're looking for. I feel like they have a really good sense of what they want, what they're doing. They have long-term goals and plans. Outerwear, but they don't have any outerwear fabrics. Oh, you just mean like jackets and things? Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've applied to do, like occasionally they have these Spoonflower grants, but I've gotten rejected, and I just don't want to spend the time doing that. I don't know. I also don't want to move to Durham, North Carolina. But if my husband ever got a job in Germany, I would look at the Spoonflower there. There's 2 Spoonflowers, one in Berlin. He speaks German, so I always figure that could be in the cards someday. So, I don't know. I would just love to get people excited about sewing garments with their fabric. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. I'll think about it. I will think about it, because there is a few people, like they have a really amazing list of Spoonflower ambassadors right now. And some of them you know, I mean, Katie Courtman, she's probably one of the darlings of going from Spoonflower ambassador to being a Project Runway contestant, right? I'm not that person, right? I'm not someone looking to become a fashion designer or build a career doing that anymore. I just want to give back with what I know. And so I'm not a big personality, and I think that's what they're looking for, people to build their brand that way. So, yeah, right, Shem? Ooh, flannel would be such a good idea. I have a feeling flannel... Didn't they have a flannel at one point? Yeah, that's true, Nancy. That's such a good point. You know what was really crazy is that the way they printed the pattern pieces on the fabric, no matter what design you printed, it would match. Like the stripes and all that would match. I don't really know if that was just luck or whatever. So with the flannel, I feel like that's such a good idea. Like that's a definite possibility. And they would actually do really well with a flannel because they're doing a fleece right now, but it's synthetic. And a flannel could be cotton. So smart. Yeah, and Joanne flannel's kind of, yeah, it's not so great. I agree. Like, and you know, what's interesting about printing a pile fabric like that, so like the minky comes to mind. When they added minky, I was like, how the heck's that gonna work? And I don't like minky. I think it's cool, but it's just too messy. I don't use it. I bought some of it for this project, these videos. So the minky, it actually prints pretty nicely. And so it's not a question of printing on a pile fabric. So the flannel, it could just be something they haven't found a source for that they can do the kind of quantity they have that's consistent. Because they probably need something. I don't know. I don't understand that. You know, like I'm a sewist and a pattern drafter. And I've worked places that do big, large-scale screen printing, but not fabric, you know. So I feel like my information on that's kind of dated because now they do screen printing so differently. And it's interesting because I took a fabric designer's class on using Photoshop to design fabric and repeats and all that. And even her knowledge of Spoonflower was far less than mine. That is nothing wrong with her. She knew everything about printing actually out of fabric printers, but she just didn't understand Spoonflower as well. It's a very, very different and specific way because it's like printing on a printer. The velvet print's amazing. Another thing, the performance velvet. Do you know what they say the content of the velvet is? Velvet. I love you, Spoonflower, but we need to have a talk about some of the things you write. Content of the velvet? Velvet. That's like saying your content of your denim is denim. So cute. Yeah, in the velvet, there's two velvets, the celosia and the performance velvet. Neither are natural fibers, which surprised me, because velvet historically is silk and cotton, or silk and rayon, right? It didn't say 100% velvet, thankfully. I feel like it was just a placeholder word, and they just never went back and fixed it. Okay, so we have our fronts ready for button fly. I've already lost my backs. They're right here. I didn't lose them. They're right here. We got the yoke on. We can look at it from the back side. You can kind of see. There's the yoke seam. For some reason, it looks like my butt's right here. I promise it's way up there, you know. Chiffon is so difficult to cut out, right, Nancy? Yeah. You know, of all the fabrics, though, that were thready, the satin. Have you used the satin, Shem? Is it really, Raquel? It's so true, Mullen. Oh, really? Yeah, that's. I can't wait to do these videos. You guys are making me very excited about doing these videos. I've put them off because I thought I was the only one interested. But you know me, I will just do a video on whatever I like. Clearly not here for the getting the views, right? Oh, shoot. It's this thread here. I love the, yeah, performance velvet. What are you saying yes for, Shem? Oh, man. But yeah, the velvet is nice. Oh, you've used the satin? Is that what you're saying yes to? And the oive? I knew that's what you're saying. That you're saying it to the satin, aren't you? Yeah, so the satin. I'm never going to sew with that stuff. It's beautiful. But it just reminds me of being 16 years old, walking through House of Fabrics, and walking by the fancy fabrics and being like, oh, I want to make this, I make this. But then you pull out the bolt and you're just like, wow, this fabric is like clinging to me. It's like running everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Shem. And my swatch has just been like sitting there in my bag and doing nothing. And it's like, it's leaving. It's like starting to come apart. Oh, that's true, Sydney. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's going to be a bunch of videos. You talk and I knit or work out. That's great. You're like, please be done. I'm done with my workout. Yeah, and the performance velvet, I don't even think it's stretchy. Like, you would think, like, costumes. I want to go get my swatches out, but I'm going to save them. It's so much fun picking it out. I don't think it's stretchy, but, or it is and it doesn't say it on there, which is funny because you need to know that kind of thing. So I got a spreadsheet going, you guys. I got a huge spreadsheet. You can buy all the fabrics but 2 unless you're a pro member. I'm a pro member and I can buy 2, but getting a fat quarter isn't possible on those 2 because they're 116 inches wide and they're really expensive. They are like $50 a yard or something like that. And I was like, not everybody can buy this anyway. So yeah. Yeah, it seems like a nightmare to deal with. It just like gave me the heebie-jeebies. I could see it, like I was going through a stack of the samples and I was being very methodical. I love Spoonflower now prints on every piece they print for you. The designer, the item number, and the fabric. That changed my life so drastically when they started doing this because I used to, in the Chicken Boots days, do this huge Harry Potter thing in the summer. That was how I kept my factory, all the people employed, paid during the summer. And even though customers would be like, I hate this Harry Potter thing. This is so dumb. I'm never buying from you again. I'd be like, I'm sorry. It does really well. I'm a fan. I was a fan at the time. And it pays my employees. It literally paid my expenses for the summer, right? So I could not do it. But I would order about 80 different fabrics and test them. And keeping track of them on Spoonflower was so hard. And then they changed that, and I was like, I love you so much. It's so helpful, Elena. And they give you an invoice, a packing slip, I mean, and there's an image of every fabric and what it is on there in full color. But they did stop signing every little order. They're so big now. It's so cute. Yeah, I want to see the satin project. The print I picked for this satin is gorgeous, and it makes me want it. We need a Spoonflower group in the Girl Guild. We have a fabric group. Or we have a fabric topic. We don't have a group. We really need to do something with our capsule wardrobe group. We're all still, like, people are still joining it, and people are, like, posting in there, but we need to do, like, a Zoom over our capsule wardrobes. I definitely need a kick in the butt. So I have this thing called a guild if you're new here, and it's free to join. There are paid groups, but you get a ton in the free area, and it's sosoguild.com. And we started, there's 2 free groups in there, one for everyone in Australia and New Zealand. I like to call it Oceania. Those folks have their own little group. And then we just started a capsule wardrobe group because I'm like, I want to do this, you know, and everyone else is already kind of on this bandwagon. So I need to do more on that. So a Spoonflower fan club. I am definitely a fan. These are going to be crazy. Let's see. Let me hold them up to me. I think you guys are humoring me about how this is going to look. But if I wear them like rolled up, oh my God. Oof. You guys, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, the plotted pattern. Yeah, you are. You're already working on your capsule. I haven't even designed mine. I want to check out this. I want to check out this, the plotted pattern. Okay. The plotted pattern. Oh, not the potted. I knew something felt funny. This is like the worst keyboard. Welcome to the plotted pattern. Ooh. Pattern printing. Wait, is this a pattern printer? Oh. Okay, wait. What did the rest of your message say? Printing pattern from a new to me company. The plotted pattern. I use a tracing paper base. Oh, okay, okay. Tracing paper base. Translucent tissue and tissue binding for instruction booklets. Oh, that's cool. Letter size instruction. Oh, they'll bind your instruction books. Oh my goodness. So you probably have to print it for 10 cents a page and then you can bind it for $3. I love that. Very cool. I'll put their link in the chat. That's pretty cool. I haven't tried Blue Cup Shop. I have all these videos right here yesterday. Those are the videos. And that's why I'm always like, where am I? Here we go. The tissue. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let us know what you think, Elena. We would love to know that. So did you see, I feel like a couple people have posted about getting PDFs printed. If you go to the top of the guild, there's a search bar. You can search for those like PDF printing and then find those posts and you could comment in there unless you want to do your own post. Because I'm really curious. Because I haven't tried the Blue Cup Shop, but she looks really affordable and she also prints pattern booklets too. And she does layers. Do they do layers? This is why I'm checking out the Blue Cup Shop because she does layers and I really appreciate that. So, all right, I'm getting hungry. You love a zoom on capsules? Yeah, you're flattering getting me too. That's true, Shem. That's true. I mean, it would be kind of fun. Spoonflower fan club. They let you choose the layers you want and let you know when a file doesn't have layers. Oh, cool. Thank you. I didn't see that. That is awesome. Okay. The translucent's very intriguing to me. What is this? Okay. It is a lightweight translucent paper, thinner than copy paper, but heavier than our tissue paper. It looks pretty cool. Hey, Deb. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, Deb. Yeah, I actually reached out to her because someone, I don't know how I learned about her on Instagram, but I was instantly like, ooh, who's this? And so I shared her stuff on like my stories and in my guild. And then a few people were kind of checking her out. And but I haven't ordered any PDFs from anyone lately. So, but I asked her, I was like, hey, do you do layers? She's like, I do. So I was happy about that. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. And she has an Etsy store, and someone said it's pretty easy to use, so. All right, so Saturday. I'll be here Saturday. Finishing these jeans, sewing a zip fly. And yeah, I mean, we did a lot today. I can sew jeans pretty quickly nowadays. Really, like things like the hardware and the buttonhole take the longest now for me. And the waistband can take a bit. I have to decide what I'm gonna do about the waistband though. I just need to make sure, like going through all these layers with the 4 layers on my waistband. Anyway, I wonder if my zipper fly. So one thing about zipper flies with jeans is I really love it when they're the right length. I used to not care. Now I love it because I really like it when I can line up my zipper tape to the bottom of my fly and sew right through, right? And I love it when I can sew right through my zipper tape at the waist, so. I didn't actually, Libby. Wait, let me read this one comment. You just started learning curve for using projector for casting power. Oh, cool. That's awesome, Nancy. I got a projector. I haven't set it up yet. Unless you can't sew the back pockets. No, Libby, but I do have a video. I don't know if I uploaded it. Let me see if I uploaded it. Because what happened was that... Is this it? Let me look at this. Oh shoot, I gotta like mute it because I had something going on. No, I feel like this is what I did with you. Okay, yeah, that's not it. What was I wearing yesterday? Huh. Okay, so what ended up happening was the front didn't meet, right? That's why I couldn't show on camera because my underwear was showing. The back was great. And so I ended up doing a few changes to the front fly. I ended up sewing 3 more fronts and just removing the fronts each time I'm replacing them. Amy. And I had to lengthen the rise right here because I was getting some tightness across my thigh in the back and in the front a little bit. I could feel it. And what Shim had said about using his fabric, because it's so thick, I'm a little nervous. Like, I feel like using a slightly smaller seam allowance, you know? So once I did this and I got everything meeting at the front, I had to take out more right here. So the only thing I haven't done is I haven't done a prototype after that one last change, and it was just removing a little bit right there across. But I pinned all of it all the way to make sure. So, how you do the changes with your projector. So some people, what they'll do is they use something called, I think it's Inkscape, and they can put the pattern pieces in there. I could be wrong. There is a projector group on Facebook. There's like 50,000 members. It is not a small group. And there's a ton of information in there. A ton of amazing information in there. And they're pinned in their featured posts. So if you go into that group, don't just post, how do you do this? You should look at the featured or pinned information posts. But a lot of people do this. Like they have their favorite thing and then they add it back. Oh, okay. So Libby, you just do it on the fly, Libby? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Aisha. I want to do that, and I want to do a serger. Like I know there's a few people who have sergers in boxes, and I want to liberate the sergers out of the box. You know. Yeah, sorry, Debbie. I don't have my projector set up, and I know that what I know is I don't know. Like, it makes sense. I look in that group and I see what they're posting and everything. But I'm not sold on it quite yet. I really like paper patterns. You're in there, Amy? Yeah. It's big, isn't it? I feel like some people like post in there and I'm like, oh, honey. But they're still so nice, even though they're very explicit. Please don't ask us, how do I do this without reading all of this information first? And they still are so nice. That woman, man, she's a saint. The Sasha Sewist, I think is her name. Like, God, and all those people who do those videos, I followed them on YouTube. I was like, yeah, I want to know you. This is great. Good information. So when I set mine up, I'll probably do it live, and we'll go through the pain of doing it together. It's overwhelming. I want to mute it, but I still get so much information out of it. Did you see I posted in my stories a few weeks ago? I was like, I just want all of you pattern companies who, like, there's like 2 that follow me, right? Just to know that there is a projector group on Facebook. It has 50,000 people in it, and they're talking about you, and they are. You can't alter the pattern, Michelle, in the projector file. Yeah. Yeah, well, Nancy, the way you wanted to do it, you wanted to scan your patterns in, and that's going to be hard. That's a lot of work. You know who's doing stuff like that is machinist, what's her name? What's her name? Machinist, something machinist. And she has a Patreon, and she talks about doing that. Minimalist machinist. I got it before you did. Minimalist machinist. She does that. Yeah. Yeah, and if you like digitizing patterns into the computer, that's like I know someone who does that for a living. Oops, sorry, I whacked the microphone. Thank you, minimalist machinist. Yeah, you guys, there's such a delay. I have such a big delay right now with YouTube because of I want the subtitles. Yeah, exactly, Nancy. What about using it the way, like casting the pattern onto the fabric? Yeah, you had to type, and there's just like it's like a 10-second delay. I had removed that delay, but it doesn't give you subtitles when I'm live, and I really think that that's helpful for people. So we've just been chatting for a really long time. Anyway, I'm actually doing another live stream for the guild today at 4 for the sleeve fitting skill building session, so I probably should go so I can eat my lunch and get prepared, because I haven't touched it since last Thursday. It's sitting over there. You see the coral colored shirt? It's just sitting over there. So today we're gonna fit the sleeve and make the pattern changes and test it probably. And what else is the thing? Show you how to add your sleeve and your armhole to a pattern, I think is what we're doing. I have to go make sure I do everything I said I was gonna do. Yeah, Sydney. Exactly. You just never know when you're going to need them. Like if you have to mute your phone all of a sudden and you need to read it, or if English isn't your first language and you need to see it written too, that helps. Hearing issues. Yeah. Yesterday. Yeah, you're welcome, Ray. All right, I'm going to head out. Thanks for coming, you guys. This went together really quick so far, right? We have the fun stuff to come, the fly and the waistband. So, Aisha, your wife's done with me. You just wanted to trace your projector files onto paper. Oh, I see. And that's not working out? Then it was easy, but if you move anything, you have to recalibrate the projector again. Oh, yeah, the projector can't be moved. 4 hours. can't she just say it in 20 minutes? She'd be one of those commenters that says that in my YouTube, wouldn't she? We got her number. All right, you guys. Have a good afternoon. I'll see you Saturday. We'll finish these up. They're going to be stupendous. I better find a shirt to wear with them really soon. I don't think I have a white. Oh, I have a white Mellow shirt that would work with this. Good. Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all the Spoonflower talk, too. I'm really glad you guys are kind of interested in like in Spoonflower, because I do think that there's a lot of fun to be had with it. So, all right, Sydney. And if you have other questions that you come up with Spoonflower that you want to know about, shoot them to me somehow if you're in the guild or on Instagram or my email or whatever, because I'll cover it in the video. I'm going to do a few. It's going to be like, these are the fabrics best to sew with garments. These are the fabrics not for garments. This is how you order fabric and what you're looking for and what you don't want to do. If you want to design fabric, I'm not going to teach you how to design fabric, but I'm going to teach you how to upload and do all that maybe. And then I think I have another video I'm thinking of too. So, all right, guys.